All right, guys, welcome back to Chris the Freelancer. Today I'm joined with Denise Lazaroo.
Hey guys.
Today is the long-awaited interview with Denise, my girlfriend and travel partner and also remote freelancer for the last 2 years. I've been trying to interview Denise for a long time and she's been too busy or had some kind of excuse, but she has agreed to do the interview at last. Exciting times, especially for the female nomads who are interested in what Denise does and how she does it. So why don't you I've got a whole bunch of questions here from the audience that I put the word out to you guys and you guys came back with a bunch of questions, but just so the people watching get to know you, what is kind of like your story and how like you became location independent and a freelancer and all that.
Yep. Obviously, like, I was attracted to the whole idea of digital nomadism because, you found it online and we started discovering it together and seeing how that would fit into our lifestyle and what we wanted to do. So that was definitely the first time I got introduced to digital nomad lifestyle. And then I kind of went into it kind of really excitedly because, I used to run and used to do buying and stuff for e-commerce because I had my own eBay store. So that was quite a few years ago, but nevertheless, I dabbled in e-commerce, and to be able to have a business on your own and not have to just run it at home in Australia, but also be able to do that overseas as well was really exciting. So that was definitely what attracted me to the digital nomad lifestyle. Obviously I decided to, work towards that lifestyle as a goal together with you, which we did, 3 years ago. So I guess here we are having this conversation.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Denise and I have been doing this together from the start. So we're not two people that met along the travels or anything like that. We'd been dating for a long time, and then I discovered this digital nomad thing, and it just so happened that we were going on a Southeast Asian trip when I kind of found out about this whole digital nomad thing.
Yeah.
And so we actually did come to Chiang Mai,
Yeah.
and we were here for a few days, and I kind of said to Denise, I'm like, could you see yourself, working remotely here? Could you see this? Because it was my idea first, and then I was like, Denise, this is something you could get behind.
Yeah.
And it didn't take much convincing.
No, not at all. When we first came to Chiang Mai, I remember we were so enthralled by the whole place because it just felt comfortable. It felt right, and we just loved it so much. I just remember the feeling of, oh my God, I love this place. Can we stay longer? Because we were here for 4 days and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And that's when we started talking about making it happen, but for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that sort of happened, we did the trip and you were like, yeah, let's do the digital nomad thing. Where were you in your career, and what changes did you make to move towards being able to work location independently?
Yeah, so I was actually in business development, and I worked in account management and business development, corporate actually. So I was very much, sorry, that was a bug. I was very much happy with how my career was going. I was doing really well, and I was, going at the pace where I really, at what I was wanting to go, but at the same time, I've always been really super open-minded about having my own business and doing my own thing and definitely growing, maybe outside the corporate space, so to speak. So that's kind of what really attracted me to the digital nomad life. And that's when I decided that to be able to do something like that, I really needed to pick up some digital skills. Obviously, digital nomad, being able to work online, being flexible. And that's when I did my homework and I realized because I already done sales and marketing, it was very easy for me to transition into digital marketing. And that's when I started really to sort of focus on digital marketing and look at getting digital marketing roles as well as upskill in digital marketing, but on my own pace. So I did that online. So that's how I kind of, that's how the transition kind of happened for me And that's when I started working for a digital agency as well. So I moved from a corporate life to a boutique digital agency, which was amazing. And I was a project manager and digital marketer there, and which exposed me to so many different things. And I worked with so many different businesses from different industries. And that really, really opened my eyes up to digital marketing, and it really cemented it for me too, because obviously, like, there's traditional sales and marketing, but there's digital marketing, which is a beast on itself. So it was just really, really exciting for me to get into it as well.
Yeah, it was something we talked about with Louise as well in the last interview, about kind of choosing your path and choosing something that, first of all, I think it's important to choose one thing and stick with it, but then also choosing a path that makes sense for you, like with your kind of strengths. And like you said, you were doing sales and marketing, so you were like, well, I'll transition into digital marketing.
Pretty much, yeah.
For me, I was doing accounting, so it wasn't really like a natural progression into web development, but I've always done like a little bit of code, always been a bit technical.
Yeah.
So that was like the path I chose, and I just thought I'd mention that because I get emails sometimes from people that are like, Chris, I'm doing 5 different things at once that are all like location independent, and they're kind of like dabbling. But I think it's important, like, to like, you know, and that's part of like when we had a set deadline, you know, we set ourselves 11 months to, we booked the ticket and we're like, we're going to be on this digital nomad thing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of had to like, okay, we only have time to develop one thing to get it to that point.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that. So I think that's an important point is, you know, just if you want to get there as soon as possible, figure out how you can use your existing skills or what you're good at already, and then transition that into what's digital.
Yeah, and give yourself a realistic goal as well. I think trying something new is definitely, I mean, some people do it. I guess it depends how much of a timeline you give yourself as well to move into that like digital nomad lifestyle sort of transition, like from, you know, like wanting to leave and stuff. And obviously we gave ourselves like 11 months. So I knew that was enough time for me to get myself upskilled, get myself a job, and get myself comfortable to a point where I was able to actually get my own clients and kind of move forward with that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's how much of a runway do you want to give yourself? Yeah.
On the choosing one path, you've been good at staying with the same thing since we started and even before we took our first flight. Whereas I've kind of been dabbling, like I created a YouTube channel and a blog, and I do web development, and I've done other stuff on Upwork as well. But talk us through like how you kind of got started in doing work that's completely location independent, you know, through Upwork, and how you've kind of that's built over time.
Yeah. So essentially, I knew like I really had to get myself started, and I'm very much about a person who likes to be prepared. So I actually got myself, I was working like 7 days a week. I don't know if you remember, but I was literally working like Monday to Friday at my normal job at the agency, and then on the weekends and even at nights after work at my normal job, I'd do my client work. So I got myself set up to a point where I felt comfortable that when I left Australia, I was going to have, if not a little bit, enough work to sort of get me by for at least the first month until I build my portfolio. So that was like super important for me. And I remember I started freelancing in October and we didn't leave till January. So I gave myself a good 3-month time frame to sort of get myself set up. And that was super important for me, and also gave me a lot of confidence really into like how to sort of get, you know, clients through proposals and things like that. Because obviously when you go to a job 9 to 5 and when you've done the interview, that's it, you've got the job. You don't have to keep applying. You don't have to keep, you know, putting yourself out there, and you don't have to keep leveling up, so to speak. But with, you know, working for yourself and freelancing, it's like a completely different story. You're always putting yourself out there. You're always having to write proposals and go for work and stuff, which is, for some people it might be tiring, but for me, I love it actually. Yeah. And winning a job's just like making a sale almost. So it really hits the right buttons for me, and that's what I loved about it, coming from a sales and marketing background as well.
Yeah, one thing that we were talking about earlier this week is about getting momentum. and I think that was your thought of, before you leave home, ideally you should have built up some momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's ideal for anybody to give yourself not just the runway, but the momentum to kind of kickstart your career as a freelancer. I know people think like, oh yeah, freelancing, it's just a few hours here and there, or there's no responsibilities. It actually depends on what kind of freelancer you want to be. Do you want to be just a freelancer, just picking up projects and just getting shit done? Or do you want to be the freelancer that businesses kind of rely on because they don't have anyone else doing that particular job, and then you pretty much become a contractor or an extension of their business, like, and that's actually how I position myself. So it depends on how you want to position yourself. So I think for me, what's been incredibly important in my success would definitely be being the latter, which is the extension. And I was confident enough to be able to be work autonomously and be able to run everything for them, like a project manager, like a marketing manager, because these businesses just need somebody to do what they need done without having to worry whether you're getting it done.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't gone into the full list of questions from the audience yet. I got one more that I think people will be interested in learning about, and that's kind of your journey on Upwork. If I look at your profile now, it's all 5 stars. You've got a 100% success rate. Are you still top rated?
Yeah.
Still top rated. So you've done really well on Upwork, and that's how you've got the majority of your work, right? Yeah. And that's, maybe down the track you have people reaching out to you that aren't through Upwork, but Upwork, you build real relationships with people. It's just a way of finding them. Yeah. But yeah, talk us through like Upwork. What have you learnt from that platform, and how have you gotten maintained such a great rating on the platform?
Yeah. Well, I'm sort of really particular about the roles that I apply for, and the reason behind that is because I want to be able to make sure that I can deliver what they're looking for. Yeah. So majority of the time, I always try to make sure that I get on a call with the client, because whatever the hell they write up sometimes is definitely not necessarily transferred into what they actually really want. Sometimes they don't really know what they really want. So it's really, it comes from, I guess, experience and expertise with regards to having the confidence to be able to decipher what they really want and tell them what they need.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised, like a lot of the times, it's actually not exactly what they say they're looking for. And then when you're able to prescribe what they really want and give them what they're actually looking for the results that they're looking for, that's really, really helped kind of build that relationship and that trust. And for me, that's, equated to the kind of relationships that I built, not just on Upwork, but off Upwork through referrals, because I get referrals too through other businesses. Yeah. And build that relationship with them to a point where they're so happy with my work. It's just ongoing. So I still have clients from the first year I started freelancing. So it's such an honor for me, because I guess like not everybody can say that, and at the same time, it's almost like a pat on the back that I'm doing a good job, because they're still happy to work with me, and they just want to continue to work with me. And I get to grow with the business as the business is growing. So for me, like, I think that's definitely really important, is to be able to decipher and prescribe what it is that they're looking for. And also to know your limits. So kind of really be real on yourself and sort of kind of like know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
I think that's like super important. Mm-hmm. And in saying that, like, even if you're not really sure about it, but you really want to try hard at the role, definitely tell them, you know what, I'm not 110% sure about how I'm going to get there, but I can promise you that we'll get there, and I'll always find out. And I've always been really transparent about that. Sometimes I'm not 100% sure about what it is that they're trying to get to, but or to get the result, but I always tell them that I will find out the answer. Like, I always find the answer. So you have to be really persistent. And you really have to work hard for them and for their business, because essentially if their business is doing well, your business will do just as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think we could talk a lot more on Upwork, and I'm Upwork is my primary method of getting clients as well. So maybe we could do a whole video on Upwork or something. But I want to get into the other questions from the audience before we run out of time here. So I'm just going to go through the list basically. So Karsten asks, how has me vlogging affected your experience of the whole digital nomad thing?
Well, your vlogging's been great to go back to and look at and reminisce. I like to reminisce on the memories we've had on, you know, the different places we've been to, the different times we've like hung out or done a special thing at a beautiful spot majority of the time.
Yeah.
The vlogging sometimes does get in the way of actually being in the moment.
Yeah.
And you know I've said that to you.
Yeah.
So because I'm very much a person that likes to be in the moment, and I can see how, like, you know, Chris wants to get like the best shot, like, you know, you want to get the best shot and like you want to you know, vlog it or whatever it is so that everyone else can see. So I've kind of learned to accept it because I know how important it is to, and I know how important it is to like everybody else watching. So
Yeah.
and I know how many people like just follow it, and you know how many people get inspired by this. So it's I know how important it is to you. So I've sort of learned to keep my thoughts and my opinions to myself.
Well, especially in the beginning, you were just like, oh, because I was just a dude filming myself. Like there was no.
You would like pull out your camera.
Everything
was so new. So
well, there was no audience at the beginning, so I think you were just like, oh, Chris, you know, doing his little vlogging. I'm wary of time at the moment, so anything you want to say on that point before we move on?
I'm at peace with it.
Okay. And Felipe has helped us out with some fresh beer, so if you're wondering why our cups are suddenly full, cheers. Okay, so 107 Scully asks, what has been your favorite location so far? How long do you see yourself traveling for, and what do you do for a living? So we've covered what you do for a living, but I guess what's your favorite location and how long do you see yourself traveling for?
That's really tough. 107 Scully. But good question. But a few places stand out for me. Definitely Chiang Mai, because we have a lot of friends here. So being around like our friends and stuff has been amazing, and I know Chris feels the same way. Definitely Mexico for me. Like, loved it. I don't know if you guys watched like the video of Mexico, but the people are great. The food are great. It's great. The place is beautiful. I mean, what more do you want than Caribbean waters? Like, serious.
Well, that was on the Yucatan Peninsula. That's not the whole of Mexico.
Yeah, sorry.
We were in Playa del Carmen.
Yeah. So yeah, the Playa del Carmen side of Mexico is like unreal, and Tulum, which is unreal. I really loved Paris, but I was there for the weekend. Chris was in there with me. I actually went with a girlfriend, Steph Danforth, if you know the Danforths. That's tough. Where else? And definitely Morocco. Like, I loved Morocco, but then again, we were with friends. I don't know if you watch any of the Sahara vlogs or anything like that, but it was just unbelievable. There's something about the desert. But working in Morocco was tough because you couldn't get a lot of work done. You just wanted to go out and explore. But then again, I had one of the best months ever, like while I was there with work and stuff. I had a lot of clients and stuff, so I managed to juggle both. So essentially, it was actually all right for work and travel. What was the other question? Part of the
How long do you see yourself traveling for?
Forever. I don't want to limit myself.
I guess you want to, because I'm a little bit surprised you said you want to travel forever.
Yeah, I do.
But like you want to stay location independent forever, right? Or...
Yes, I do want to stay location independent forever, but I also feel like I'm getting to a point where there are only a few places in the world so far that I've been that I really love and that I'd like to spend more time in. Kind of like how Chiang Mai's been for us in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to explore those places a little bit more and sort of suss that out as like a base. I'd love to have a base, one in Asia and one in Europe, and maybe one in America or like that part of the world. Maybe like every 3 to 6 months in a year, because I I mean, like seasons change and stuff, so like not everywhere is sort of like ideal to go at certain times of the year. So, I mean, we're so spoiled that we get to even choose or even talk about this or even contemplate it. Like I feel so blessed, you know. So, but just to answer your question, like that's definitely, for me, that's definitely the ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add some context to that, Denise and I have been talking and kind of how I feel, and I think you feel the same way, is kind of choosing the places we base ourselves and work in, and then choosing places that we can just travel to without so much expectation on, is this going to be productive? Because one thing I've found, like, and I think you've maybe found it as well, like traveling the world, like there's a limit to how many amazing places you can go to where you can be productive at the same time. And some places, I would love to travel with you to some places that just maybe aren't great for remote work. So that's part of this whole kind of, you know, the transition of like, you know, being strictly nomadic. You know, we still love traveling, right?
Yeah, and there's like the best part about this lifestyle is there's no rules. Like for example, we like right now we're in Chiang Mai. We actually plan to stay for 2 months, but it's highly likely next month we're going somewhere else now. We've changed our mind, you know. So that's the beauty of it, and that's what really draws a lot of people to this lifestyle is the flexibility and the freedom. It's a beautiful thing. I'm very, very lucky to have that.
Okay, so Joachim asked what your educational background is.
Yeah, so I did a diploma in business and commerce. And after that I went to university and I did an international business with a minor in supply chain. Not necessarily anything to do with digital marketing, but there was marketing in there. And I did marketing and business management.
I wondered why Joachim asked that question, and I think maybe it's perhaps like what the deeper question is, what educational background do you need to be able to be in a position where you can work from anywhere? And really there is no requirements.
There is no requirements.
And in fact, a lot of people who do this lifestyle don't have a formal education because they are the type of people who are self-starters. Whereas university kind of trains you to be part of a system. You know, university is a system in itself. So you just need to know the skills, how to be able to do whatever it is you're freelancing in or whatever business you're running.
Yeah, get on Udemy, get on Skillshare, get on, what's it called? The one that's owned by LinkedIn. Lynda. It's like amazing. Like the plethora of resources that you can have online is like, you can do anything you want, anything.
Does working remotely have a negative impact on your social life?
That's a really interesting question, and thank you whoever asked that. And I have to say no. I am quite a social person, but obviously I'm quite picky when it comes to being social. When the people I spend my time with are the people I really, really enjoy spending my time with. And Chris knows that. And for me, I'm actually more social as a nomad than I am at home. I do have a lot of friends at home, but when I'm at home and when I'm with my friends, a lot of the time I really like to have small groups and hang out in small groups so we can really have like, you know, deep conversations and intimate conversations rather than in a group setting, because I feel like for me that's really important. But as nomads, we've been really lucky to have such a big group of friends that I'm able to also do that with. So I'm able to be sociable as well as have intimate relationships with every individual, which has been amazing. And everybody is on the same wavelength, believe it or not. I mean, like going on the journey, I never thought I'd meet anybody that I could have that kind of relationship with. And I'm just blown away. And I'm just so happy that I've been able to meet so many amazing people that are so inspirational and just so kind and warm-hearted and loving and so easy to talk to and so easy to relate with. And yeah, it's just been awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I have such a big, so I'm so big on the community aspect of this lifestyle, because if you do just travel and work from home and you're not necessarily going to places that other people work remotely from, you may feel lonely and out of place and not meet anyone. But that's why we come to places like Chiang Mai and all the other kind of places where they have co-working spaces and a community of other remote workers there, is we meet people that are kind of we can relate to, and oftentimes because people are traveling, they're more open to meeting new people, and just all of those factors come together like in a place like Chiang Mai, for example, where there's a strong sense of community, and that's sometimes hard to find even in back home where you think it'd be easier to meet new people or be more social, but neither of us have had a negative impact on our social life through working remotely. I guess it depends on where you go to and how you get involved with communities where you're traveling to.
It's about getting involved as well.
What was the biggest challenge for you in starting to work remotely?
Definitely that momentum. And also knowing my limits about what I could apply for and what I couldn't apply for and stuff, and really just being a noob, like just getting into it. Like it's only normal to have some kind of insecurities and some kind of uncertainty with regard to how it's going to go. So for me, it was more personal than it was, more mental than it was anything else. But as soon as I went over that mental barrier, as soon as I left, and I just kept pushing myself and meeting really inspiring people who were just doing it. I just knew if these people are doing it, what makes them different to me? Nothing. And I knew I could get it done. So that was my first challenge, and after I broke that challenge, I was fine.
Awesome. Yeah. If you could start your entire digital nomad journey over again, what, if anything, would you do differently?
Wow. I don't actually have any regrets.
Yeah.
This journey has been amazing, and sometimes it's tough, definitely. Sometimes I just miss home, I miss my friends, I miss my family. But other than that, and sometimes, I have FOMO, what's happening at home and stuff, and I'm missing out on all that, everyone's moving up, and I'm just traveling and doing my thing and working. I don't know. I don't think I'd do anything any different. I made the choice to do this, and the reason why I made the choice to do this is because for me, having the choice and having the freedom to do it, and being able to travel and meet new different people and see different things and experience different cultures has just been the most humbling experience of my life. I think I've grown so much in the last 3 years than I could have ever grown staying at home. And I am so happy that I've given myself the opportunity to do that. I'm so happy that I've had the courage to do it, because I know a lot of people who want to do it that I've spoken to but are too scared, and I'm the biggest cheerleader. I'm always you can do it, I can help you do it, that sort of thing. I don't know, I just want people to realize that there's so much more to life than what you think there is. And I have no regrets.
Awesome. The next question is, how did you get started on Upwork and how you came to learn your social media marketing skills?
Yep.
We already covered Upwork, I think, but in terms of knowing the skills that you use to freelance in, how did you learn those?
Online. So, get on Udemy, get on Lynda. I did a digital marketing course actually with, it's a university course. And for me, that really gave me the confidence to kickstart it. With social media, it's really about picking up a lot of things through people Neil Patel, and people who know their craft, with regards to social media. I know there's a lot of people out there wanting to talk about social media and everything, but pick the ones that have been doing it for a while and they really actually know what they're talking about. The gurus, they're really social media gurus. And definitely learn and experiment with it as well. A lot of social media marketing is to do with experimentation, and just not to get too much into marketing, but definitely knowing your target segment and stuff like that, and knowing where they are. So if you want to get into social media marketing, definitely do a course with Hootsuite. definitely do like a course, even with Buffer. Like these platforms actually give you some social media marketing free material. Like if that's what you want to get into. So look out for the people that are doing it and doing it well, and then follow suit. Yeah.
Cool. This is an interesting one. Do you both enjoy your lifestyle? Oh, so the question is being asked to us, I believe. So do we both enjoy our lifestyle equally, or does one of us feel like they are following or tagging along? And if so, how did you handle this? And do you voice your travel burnout?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely voice my travel burnout. You know that.
Yeah.
I voice a lot. Might not be on camera, but it happens. Chris and I mean, not to speak on behalf of you, but I feel that we're very, very communicative in our relationship, and that's what has made it work out for us continuously. So when Chris has an idea and he wants to go to a country, or when I have an idea and I want to go to a country, we'll voice it and we'll talk about it, we'll stew over it, and then we'll kind of see the viability of it, whether it's livable, whether it's workable, whether it costs, it's within our costs for living and working and everything else. So we kind of do it as a team. I think that's super important. And we both are very open about our concerns. And to some extent, every now and again, yes, I do tag along. And I'm totally okay with it because I know how important, I guess, this lifestyle is just as much to Chris as it is to me. So, in fact, I think it's more important to Chris. So, because I'm very, very flexible. I can stay in Australia and work as well, like, as long as I have the freedom to be able to be anywhere I want to be, whenever I want to be. So I've always been okay with Chris taking the lead with certain things, and he'll also give me the opportunity to take the lead in certain things. And so I think that's how we've found our balance. Yeah.
What are you, oh sorry, I skipped ahead. What would you recommend focusing on today to earn an income while traveling so you could obtain location independence? This is written from the perspective of the person asking, so
yeah.
If you were in a location dependent job, I guess, like what steps would you take?
What steps would I take to?
Yeah, I guess. What would you recommend focusing on today? I guess it's wouldn't change from what you've done.
Yeah, it wouldn't really change. Like as soon as you have like the momentum and stuff.
But I guess in general, like in terms of for people that maybe they don't want to pursue digital marketing, but what advice could you give to them?
Persistence. I'm really a firm believer of putting your head down and getting shit done. Like, yeah, and it's always worked for me. So yeah, I mean, like that, like just based on my experience, like that's definitely what I have to say is don't give up. Like if you've been working hard at something, you know, and maybe after 6 months you're not really getting the results you really want, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to happen. Sometimes you're just at the edge and you don't even know. Like don't give up so quickly. Like sometimes it takes a while for something to come to fruition. And I believe that persistence is key in a lot of things in life. Not just about this, but obviously this is the question. So I believe that being persistent in the thing that you really want to do for the goal that you really want to get to is ideal.
Yeah, I feel like it's a tough question because location independence is just one part of aspect. It's just one aspect of your work, right? The fact that you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's not some mystical thing in the sense that I have to find like it's just location independence is one path or it's the be all end all. I guess for you were in sales and marketing, you realized like that had a location independent factor, and you're like, well, what's something more digital I can do to free myself up? And you did the digital marketing. And same thing with me, like there are remote accountants, but they're more experienced, like 5 years down the track of like graduating or more. And so I thought to myself, well, what's something I can do digitally? So I guess my answer to that question would be just be strategic about it. Like what can you do remotely and how does that fit into what you actually want to do? And if you really want to be a carpenter, for example, you know, I guess you have to kind of accept, unless you want to teach courses online about being a
Yeah,
carpenter,
that's a good
you
point.
might have to make a sacrifice on the location independence in order to pursue your passion. Because one thing I've learned is if you're doing a job you hate and you're doing it from somewhere beautiful, it still sucks.
It still sucks.
It still sucks. So
That's really good.
just a tangent there. Speaking about passion, what are you most passionate about, find the most rewarding, and have the most fun doing?
Oh. Definitely passionate about learning more about how travel can help me grow as a person. Yeah. I'm sort of like, you're asking this question.
Maybe we can put it into like tape it down a little bit and say like in terms of work, because maybe this person's asking in terms of work, what are you most passionate about when it comes to your location independent career? Because that is a very broad question.
Yeah, that is a really broad question. Okay, cool. So with regards to work then, thank you. I really find it like, what I'm most passionate about is definitely what I'm already doing and how I'm able to deliver and execute. I'm super achievement driven with regards to that. And for me, that is definitely a passion of mine. There's nothing more satisfying than a client telling me that I've done an amazing job, even if they don't tell me, but I can tell majority of the time from, their emails or what they say or whatever, that I've just gone above and beyond their expectations. So it's definitely like the achievement delivery for me.
Yeah, you were saying to me that your passion with what you do is helping businesses. You like to see businesses succeed, and that is really good when you're working to help businesses succeed. You actually like enjoy seeing them succeed.
I love seeing the numbers, them growing, them being able to hire more people and give other people more jobs. Like there's so much more to it than just them making money. It's a deeper thing. Yeah, it's a much bigger thing. Bigger than you.
And you generally work with smaller clients when you're freelancing, at least in the beginning stages. Because big companies like to work with agencies, right? So these are people that have a passion or have a business they really want to start. Probably like a bunch of you guys that maybe have online businesses or starting online businesses. And so like you're really helping them to create their dream business or to create an idea.
Yeah, and it's like really satisfying.
Awesome. Final few questions. Do you have any strategies for handling stress when traveling? You always come across as being very grounded. Is that part of your personality, or do you use mindfulness or anything specific when challenges come up?
Okay, I love this question. Whoever asked that, I can tell what kind of person you are, and I like you already. Okay, I'm very much about mindfulness, and I've learned that a lot over the last few years. And it comes into like the experience and being able to use that and change your perception and obviously progress as a person and all that sort of thing. With regards to being grounded, I think it's come over time for me with experience and with being maturing as an adult, and definitely having like a lot of respect as well and being more humble now that I've been able to been given all these opportunities to do all these things and have so much freedom. And know that while I'm traveling there, I see a lot of these people in different countries and stuff that don't have that opportunity. And that's been really humbling for me, which has helped me be more grounded as a person. Through being grateful and being thankful for the things that I have and being able to do. So with regards to like things that I do is maybe like definitely practice meditation, and I do a lot of I can be quite introverted where I need to spend some time to myself to process things that I've maybe seen, heard, or go through while I've been traveling. So for me, I think becoming more introspective has really helped me become more grounded as a person. Just to put it out there. I think for me that's definitely, because I do meditate, but not as much as I should. But sometimes like with meditation as well, I know for a fact that you need to do it over time to get really, really grounded and stuff. But I think as of right now, because I'm I'm really happy and I'm really, really at peace with where I am in life. It's really helped me be grounded as a person.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry the camera cut out twice during the interview. I will check my memory cards in future, but we got the audio the whole way through, I'm pretty sure. So that's probably the most important part. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Denise, for finally coming on and
thank you for
sharing
your questions. They were amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're interested in all this stuff about location independence, travel, remote work, definitely subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this interview with Denise, give it a like. How would people get in touch with you or find you online?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, so I built Denise a website. It's at deniselazaroo.com. It's currently still unpublished.
But there's the landing page, so feel free to leave your email address.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I can set up something. I'm so sorry, like, I'm really slack. I'm really good at building other people's businesses, but not my own.
It happens when you're a freelancer.
Yeah.
You end up spending more time on other people's websites than your own.
Yeah, so definitely please leave your email at deniselazaroo.com, and I'll be more than happy to send you something as soon as I get it up and running.
All right, thanks guys for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye.